Okay, so this is a little project I've been waiting for parts for a little while, but not too bad actually, because everything I source is from the United States or like Newegg. So it wasn't too bad to get up to Canada. I have an HP T5740 thin client here. Really nice machine actually. It's a 1.66 gigahertz dual core with hyper-threading, I believe. Could just be dual core. Actually, no hyper-threading. 4 USB ports at the back. Gigabit LAN has an option for wireless control module or like wireless antenna module. Display port, VGA, mouse and keyboard, serial port, which would make this, and it's pretty low power consumption from what I recall. It's like 20 watts or something. And really good for like just, well, I know something that needs a serial port. Oops, sorry. And then we got 2 more USB ports that get hidden by a black cover up here. So the plan is to use this as a backup secondary sort of NAS just for my CCTV footage in case someone breaks in, steals the server, or pulls the drives out of the server, that sort of thing. Hopefully this is pretty close to up to date. So this one I have had a 4 gigabyte IDE DOM, IDE disk on module that was right there. So this is IDE pinout. And it's got option for the flash there. This is a standard PCI riser, from what I understand, and you can get an add-on that about doubles the thickness of this and has an adapter, so you could put like a 4 gigabit LAN card or something in that if you want to make a PF-Sense device, which is really cool, but those things are kind of uncommon, and also I don't think the CPU could really handle it. Yeah. I don't know. I might add that on at some point as functionality for this. But for now, what I'm doing, not sure if I've chosen the SSD or the old hard drive from my server. This thing, I have no clue how old it is. It's been running for a while with me. I don't know how it was running before. It caused overheat warnings in my server, so replace it with a 250 gig SSD. Was going to try this 120 gig at first. Didn't work. So I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to be using, but, and I had to order 2 of these because I got the wrong side. If you take a little right angle SATA adapter and cut the little molded plastic bit off, you can go ahead and stick that in there, and it comes out really easily. So you stick it back in. And then you can route all of the cables around. And I would like to mount it like this because it looks really cool. I mean, I think that looks really nice the way it is. But there's no real good way to mount that, so I'm hot gluing it to like some capacitors. So I got some M3 screws and then rubber for vibration dampening. Some rubber O-rings. I really don't think I'll need that with an SSD, but if I do decide to go with this, longer boot time, higher storage, and I mean I'm not wasting sort of an SSD on CCTV stuff, then maybe I'll do that. I'm really not sure what I want to do. I'll probably start with this because I can clone it over. But that fits in there really nicely above the 4 gigs of flash, or the 4 gigs of RAM that I have. Trying to think. Yeah, this thing is only 32-bit CPU, so the max you could have is 4 gigs, even though there's another slot on the other side. This one is actually spec'd at 2 gigs when I ordered it, so that was a pleasant surprise. If that can fit in nicely there. Then you have to remove one of the VESA screws, which, as you can tell, are just pressed in. Took a little bit and kind of bent this thing out of shape, but I think I was able to get it back. And so that will close up nicely, and you can see that first screw right there peeking through. So plan is to mount it onto this, and then you can lift it out, and then this thing will be mounted up here. So I'm gonna start, oh fuck, you can even see that. So yeah, basically you lift this thing up, and then the SSD or hard drive will be mounted on the top there, with the rubber O-rings as vibration dampening. So I'm gonna start drilling holes for this, and see how she goes. An update later. Alright, so this thing keeps falling. Whatever. It's a little rough. Oh, you can't even see it. Never mind. It's a little rough. Took 3 tries to get this one in the right spot. As you can tell, it's not amazing. I put the first one exactly through one of these holes, and I thought maybe they would line up in 3 spots. It didn't. I'm just doing 3 screws right now, because to get this one to work, I'll need a fender washer. But then basically you just, yeah, it's closed nicely. You flip it open, and then you lift like so. Then you have access to your SSD or just regular hard drive. And that works quite nicely, and you can even easily take the whole thing out if you need to. And so it mounts in there. It just clears the CPU heatsink here. And I think this is the graphics heatsink that connects to this plate here. So yeah, I guess the next step, really, closed even better this time, is to screw it down. Basically, you got 4 screws around the perimeter here, and then there's 1 screw in here that holds a black cover piece. And then it's all set. That's actually not in here all the way. So yeah, you can't VESA mount anything on this side, or at least if you do, it's only going to have 3 screws available. But yeah, I'd say that this is doing pretty good. Yeah, it's a little, I think it's those wires that are pushing it up a little bit. Yeah, I can see inside. I'm not ever going to be able to show you this, but the SSD easily clears everything by a good few millimeters, or at least 2 or 3 millimeters of clearance. So yeah, these things can take a 2.5-inch drive really nice and easily. People have used that expansion to put 3.5-inch drives, but they have to be modified because that SATA power and data doesn't have 12 volts. It only has 3 volts and 5 volts. So you'll have to use a laptop drive. So yeah, I'll probably start installing on that. Maybe do it on this one instead if I want more storage space. That's probably a really good idea. I have to just check how much, like a few days of footage actually takes up. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this little, not modification guide, but a modification overview of adding a hard drive to a HP T5740 thin client.